What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis holding down analysisplayground.com as I come to y'all with the defending champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, and what to expect from this team. I'm obviously expecting big things from this team. With Giannis coming back after winning Finals MVP, Drew Holiday finally comfortable in the system, really started playing well in the playoffs, especially towards the end. Same with Chris Middleton. They don't have to figure it out no more. They don't have to find what works and don't work because they have found that out in the playoffs with their rebounding and their defense and knowing how to use all three of them offensively. Plus, they did change some of their role players and they did lose some. So it's going to be an adjustment period to that and how they operate, with their bench and how they change their lineups. Because some guys was huge defensively, some guys are just not there at all. So they have a different identity in some of their lineups than they had before. But we'll talk about that. But when I look at the Milwaukee Bucks, I look at this as a team that will be one of the top three teams in the East, obviously, if healthy. And they will have a chance to be the number one team in the East if they can remain healthy, as I think that they'll be a top five defensive team and one of the best offensive teams, too, in the league because of their defense will translate into offense. But they also did address some of those problems with their off season. And I also think with guys getting comfortable and knowing their roles with their stars, they'll be able to push past some problems that they had when they was figuring things out even towards the end of the season and in the playoffs. They have answered already, and now they can just continue to move forward and build upon what they did in the playoffs and just try to take over the regular season. So, with that being said, let's look at a lot of the players that they have. They bring in Semi Ojeleye, a guy that I don't believe will play a significant amount, but gives them a guy that can play multiple positions, give them some type of shot creation and shooting. Will be a guy that will be getting 10 to 20 minutes per game. Will allow them to go small. Will allow them to play some unusual lineups that they really couldn't play last year. And it just depends on if his perimeter shot is falling. He could be a solid piece for them. They also got Jordan. He's 22-year-old small forward. I don't see him getting significant minutes this season, so I'm not going to talk too much about him. You already got also Rodney Hood, who's going to be a huge part of this team as they brought him in. He's coming off some injuries. He's trying to resurrect his career again because of injuries, and he's looking for the Bucks as a spot to where he can be a switchable guy that can play the 2 to 3 and some 4, depending on what lineup is out there and who's around him. Give them a guy that can get his own bucket. Give them a guy that can knock down some spot up threes and give them some length, some size, and mobility, and even some switchability, depending on what they have around them and what lineup is out there. You have George Hill coming back, a guy that has bounced around the league, has already won a championship, has played a key role player on a lot of teams even throughout the years, has still been a little inconsistent, but last year showed that he can still be a guy you can depend on to give you three-point shooting, probe a little bit, and give you some solid defense at his age. He still is a good contributor, and I don't expect that to change for the Bucks. And that's why they brought him in to give them depth, especially at the guard position, and a guy that can play both guard positions on and off the ball, but also defensively, give you some switchability with that too. You look at Mom D. I don't see him getting a lot of significant playing time either. I don't even know if that's how you really say his name, but he's number 25. He's 24. He's 6'9", 228 out of Virginia, and I don't see him playing significant minutes. Dante DiVincenzo, hopefully he's healthy during the start of the season. He's going to be a huge part of what they do because he's a solid defender at that shooting guard position while also giving them perimeter scoring and a guy that can play off the ball a little bit and give them athleticism. Something that they lacked but never really completely missed, but will also be a help adding another guy that gives you depth at the guard position and somebody you don't have to replace because he'll be available now. Pat Connaughton showed to be a huge key role player for this team, giving spacing, knowing where to be on the court, not needing the ball, not demanding the ball, but can punish you if open. He did miss some key shots. He did have some embarrassing games, but he pulled it together when it mattered most. and he was reliable, and I think that he'll be that again in a bigger role for them this year. Elijah Bryant out of BYU, I don't think he'll be getting significant minutes either, especially with Connaughton and DiVincenzo and these guys going to be ahead of him. He's just going to be a bench warmer for the most part. Thanasis got brought back. I still think that he can be a key switchable guy. That gives them excitement, effort, and energy, and just another guy that can make Giannis feel closer to home. Grayson Allen, I think, was a huge pickup for them just because he was a guy that really helped the Memphis make that push and made some big shots in that playing in the playoff game that helped them win games to really extend their season and give them a legitimate playoff push, which they ended up finishing in the playoffs. I don't think he's the greatest defender, but he is feisty. He is a guy that can catch fire from three, can hit threes from distance, can hit some mid range too, and he just gives them another guard if somebody goes down that can be reliable, dependable, and can create his own shot. Well, I mean, hit shots if open and can be deadly in that role. You look at Brook Lopez, he's getting older, but still is a solid rim protector, still is a guy that can space the floor, still is a guy that plays well with Giannis in that front court, and that's all that really matters for him, just being that perfect fit that can really create his own shot in the post, can hit mid-range, can hit threes, can hit push shots, can hit free throws, and just serves, as a perfect complementary player to what this team is trying to do. They brought back Bobby Portis also, who was a big body that really used muscle and tussle and really was able to hit perimeter shots too and also kill teams on the boards with effort and energy. That's something that they lacked, and that's something that made them pick him up and give him a shot, and he really paid dividends for them in the playoffs, especially against the Atlanta Hawks, and really was able to make key plays, not key shots, key plays throughout the entire playoff run, and that's a big reason why they're champions. And then you look at the big three. Jrue Holiday was never able to really fully figure it out offensively, had some up and downs even in the playoffs, but was huge for them in the Atlanta series, was huge for them in the finals because of his defensive versatility. I would love to see Jrue Holiday become an all NBA first team defender again, and even an all-star. If this team wins a lot of games, he gives you the teams and he gives you the assists and the rebounds and the defense. I would love to see Jrue Holiday be an all-star again in the NBA instead of just being a one-time all-star that's respected. Just being able to get back there again will be a beautiful thing for him. And if the Bucks are dominant and good out the gate, I can definitely see that happening, especially if his defense was as good as it was in the playoffs, and that will really help him. Also, Chris Middleton, who has been a solid defender, a guy that can get his own shot, a guy that can play off the ball and hit threes, a guy that also has proved as a playmaker, and a guy that really can take over games and carry the offense if need be. And he has shown that throughout the playoffs and throughout the regular season, as he has been a two-time All-Star and has been efficient mid-range and three-point shooter for basically the last couple years in Milwaukee, and is a huge part of their team and their success. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, the former MVP, the former Defensive Player of the Year, the former Finals MVP, well, I should say the current Finals MVP, a guy that was absolutely obliterating the Phoenix Suns in the finals, and including the last game that allowed them to win the championship, going for a 50-piece and securing the Finals MVP in the championship for Milwaukee the first time in over 30, 40 years. And it was done just a couple months ago in Milwaukee, which was a beautiful thing to do because nobody seen the Bucks achieving that goal. But at the end of the day, they was able to get it done, and now they can focus on trying to win another one and build that dynasty that Kevin Durant said that they could possibly be. Well, this is a good way to start winning one. Now it's just time to prepare to win multiple. And I think that's why I have the Bucks coming out great. Mike Budenholzer has consistently shown that he can win games in the regular season. He can anchor defenses with the right schemes and systems, and he also can have this team obliterate bad, good, and ugly teams. And that's what you're going to need to do if you want to have a great record. And they have shown that they can do that prior seasons, and I don't see why they can't do that again this season. When you look at the shooting, the spacing, the creation, the dominant players in Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis, and all of them being two-way players, it's no way the Bucks can't be dangerous. there's no way the Bucks won't be a great team this year unless something significantly happens injury-wise. Other than that, I expect them to finish second or third at worst, if not first, in the NBA Eastern Conference, because you never know injury-wise what happens to another team, and they will be right in the thick of it as the best team in the NBA. And I do expect them to make another deep playoff run, as I don't really see too many teams in the East really being competition for them if they're healthy, and that gives them another chance to make a conference finals. And you will never know, just like we've seen this year, what can happen. They can probably get back to the finals, and we don't know who their competition will be. They have a chance to win it, as they're just as talented as other teams, especially if they're locked in defensively and making their perimeter shots. They're a dangerous team. We've seen that through the playoffs. We've seen that with guys being in and out, that this team still has a lot of talent. And with Mike Budenholzer always, knowing how to get the best out of guys, knowing how to get the best out of role players, and putting those guys in position to succeed, they have a shot to beat anybody. They really do. And that's what they try to do. They lost a lot of defense. They lost some talent, but they try to replace them with guys that already fit what they've been doing and just put them in the system around a big three and allow them to flourish in that role, just like we've seen them plug in guys throughout the last 4 years, and it eventually got them over the hump. But this is a team that has been to 2 conference finals and 1 NBA finals, that have won the championship. So these are the expectations that they should have. These are the expectations that they should have coming off a championship, not losing significant talent. And I expect them to be a dominant team again and have a legitimate chance to get back to the finals if things break right, just like we seen last year. And even at worst, they should be a conference finals team if healthy. And I think that's great expectation. That's great respect for a great organization that has really changed since they got under new ownership. And bringing in Budenholzer has really changed the culture to expect winning seasons every year, which they have been under him, if not the number 1 team in the NBA, one of the best teams in the NBA like they was last year. But even though they wasn't number 1 in the season, they was number 1 in the end, as they were the champions, and that's the thing that matters the most. And that's something that they have another opportunity to do again. We'll just see if they get it done. That's what I expect from the Bucks. Great, dominant, and a chance to win another title. That's all you can hope if you're a fan, feeling like you have a chance, knowing that you have one of the top 5 players in the league and a great supporting cast around them, and also not really being scared because you have 2 other all-star caliber players with them. That means you have a chance to win it all, and as long as you're a fan, that's all you want. And the Bucks have that opportunity again this year. Other than that, let me know what you like, what you dislike in the comment section below, what you agree or disagree with, and let me know how you feel about the Bucks. Will they win it all? Was it a fluke? Are they as good as we think? Are they just as good as we thought? Because they was so great in the regular season, they just flamed out. But having Drew Holiday was a significant difference, and that's why they made the trade, and it paid off already in the first season with this big 3 together. Now we just gonna see if they can win multiple with this 3 in the future, and they have a chance to repeat this year. We'll see if they get it done. See y'all tomorrow.